Thank you so much for tuning into the Woman to Woman podcast, a conversation for women like you, smart, successful, curious, and interested in being your best self. Join both Sarah and I as we discuss topics that women our age are actually interested in, with both of us being candid and often having differing views.
As coaches, we sprinkle in advice and tips, along with humor and vulnerability. We hope you feel like a fly on the wall, with two friends. Let's entertain and inform you, and welcome you into our friendship.
We appreciate you pressing play and spending some time with us, wherever you are in the world.
Let the magic happen. Hi everyone, happy International Women's Day. This podcast is all about women, right? So we wanted to do a special episode today to celebrate this International Women's Day. So we are glad and proud to discuss with you on the women who have actually influenced our life. So sit down with us and discover who are the women who really had a tremendous impact in our life. We probably have even more, but we just reduced a little bit for the purpose of that episode. And if you have anyone that you want to share with us, just send us an email. Enjoy this episode. Good morning, Angela. How are you today?
I'm very well. How are you, Sarah?
I am good, thank you. We are approaching the International Women's Day today. And we were thinking that actually that could be a great moment to talk about women, because this podcast is about you, ladies. So the idea here is, so we're going to talk about women, but the thing is that I received recently an offer, and I am extremely excited about that. So I was not seeing this coming at all. But suddenly I received an email from a woman working in my company, and she offered me to join. So every year for that day, particular day, but not only, we organize as well. There is the International Men Day as well, where something is organized. There are a few, big dates like that. But every year, the CEO of the company is stepping into a meeting, online meeting, and we talk about, womanhood in the corporate. And the CEO of my company, actually, she is a woman, and since she's in the company, seriously, she has made so much for women. New CEO coming in a big corporate like this, people want to change and have their own team. But with her, she puts, woman everywhere. There is woman. It's more than the balance. The statistics says that it's a 50-50. So our corporate is really 50% woman, 50% men. And I love it. I respect a lot what she has done for women in a corporate. That's really amazing. And the people organizing the talk for the International Women's Day invited me as a panelist to discuss about womanhood in the corporate, and based on my own experience, what I've lived. And so, of course, I was honored to say yes and to join the discussion. So it's going to happen on the day. It's going to be a little bit late for me, but I really don't care. I really want to be part of it. And it's not it, because they are doing as well e-magazine that it's read. They are doing it already, but the e-magazine is really sent to everyone. And there's going to be my picture on it with, a little text on it. So I'm very proud of participating to that, because definitely women in a corporate has been a long topic for years and years and years. And that's one of the reasons that I love the company that I am working for. It's not every day easy. Don't think that because I'm saying that every day it's easy, right? But it's really such an honor with all the works that I have done on myself. This is happening, and I'm really, really proud. I may talk only 5 minutes, but who cares? I will still be there showing off that I'm part of the panelists. So I'm really proud. So the idea really was, okay, what can we do here to inspire our audience? And so, Angela, what was your idea? Because I really like it.
Okay. Well, first of all, congratulations and well done. And I'm also proud of you. And I know that you will have something really insightful or meaningful to add to the panel. And if not, it's good experience anyway. So, yes. Yeah. So well done.
Thank you.
And so my idea, speaking about Women's Day today, and this whole week we're celebrating women, I thought that we could talk about women who have inspired us in our lives, and people who have shaped us. And I guess, I'm a girl's girl. I went to an all-girls school. I've actually had an interesting journey of learning about boys, particularly with having one. I was like, dude, what am I going to do with a boy? Like, I'm having a girl. I only know girls. I do girls. This is what this is. And no. So now I'm actually very about men's rights. I actually am really interested about, you kind of think like life is easy for men. Anyway, this is a great different topic to talk about because I love this topic, learning about men and how, their experience in the world is so different from women. But anyway, I'm super getting off the topic. And so I'm happy to start, or would you like to tell us about women or a particular woman who has inspired your life?
No, Jo, just go ahead. Start and tell us exactly who are these women that really inspired you?
Okay. Well, I have a lot. But just before we got on, we were talking about something, and it wasn't the person I was going to talk about, but the first person who truly inspired me and like set my heart on fire, perhaps more than people I know. So people, you look up to them, you're in their energy, you can feel their embodiment. But in terms of inspiration, I fell in love with Bette Midler. I don't know if you know who she is. She's kind of you don't know who Bette Midler is, Sarah?
Maybe I know her face, but I may not know. Sorry.
So she's a very famous singer and actress in America. And she's also a comedian, and she's just the most beautiful spirit. So at 8 years old, I saw a movie that I'm sure most of our listeners would know, which is called Beaches in the 80s. And I legitimately had a connection with this woman, and I became quite obsessed. So I have an interesting relationship with my mother in terms of, I love now, like I had a very homemaker mother and stuff like that, but I kind of wanted, and it's one of the reasons why I pursue a career now, a more bigger career, exciting mother. I don't know, ever since I was little, I just wanted a bigger, more exciting life. And actually, Bette Midler gave that to me. So she was a super inspiration for me. She's someone who's very successful, but that's not what I love about her. I love her humanity, how she connects with her audience, the way she lives her life, every word she says, I just love her. I don't know. I've never connected with another actress or anything like this, but her music just seeps into your soul, and I highly recommend that you go and look her up. Yeah, I don't know. In another life, I was friends with her. In another life, she may have been my mother. But the thing that she gave me the most was the example of like a really big life and chasing your passion and being yourself. And that was that's what I needed as a child. I always considered her my second mother. She was like the mother, like the really cool auntie who She lived in New York, she lived in LA. She had a lot of career ups and downs. She was certainly not just upwardly successful. And she was really open with that as well. And even from a child, I went along those career highs and lows with her because she had them quite publicly. And they were beautiful lessons for me to learn. So I had my own mother, of course, and she was very nurturing. I feel really happy to have had a stay-at-home mother. I give something similar to my son. I believe in a balance. And my mum did work. And Josephine, the episode we did with Josephine actually gave me a very different insight into my mother that I never had by myself. So she did do Tupperware parties. She actually, when she was a stay-at-home mother, she also had like an ironing service. She used to have people drop off their ironing and she would sort of iron at home and then get them to pick it up. And so she actually was a bit entrepreneurial as well. So I've actually had a few light bulb moments around looking at my mother in a bit of a different light. And so she's definitely one of them as well. But for me, Bette Midler showed me the way. And, I've had a lot of time overseas, kind of like you, traveling, living, working in different places, having the balls to start my own thing now, to help women. I mean, I help women and men, to become their best version of themselves. So first of all, I had to do that to myself. And Bette Midler has always been a massive inspiration for me. So I would love to thank her on this Women's Day. She's still going, she's in her like late 70s. She's actually like the same age as my mum. And she is like full of energy. She's still inspiring. She's very politically active. She has her own foundation that looks after nature. She was like a real leader on that way. And I love everything about her.
Yeah,
so I have a few others. Yeah. Oh, she's, with me in my life.
Amazing.
So I have others, but would you like to interject or?
Go on, because mine are a bit different. So let's see what are the others, and mine are a little bit different. Go.
Okay. So I have another one. She was actually a lawyer in my custody case, when I separated from my son's father, and we had a massive custody case. And this was a lady, her name is Karen Akinji, and she was a mentor for me. She held me through some of the hardest times in my life. She was actually someone who really taught me about boundaries. So when you're going through an emotional case and it's actually in the courts, you really need support. And I think a lot of lawyers are quite cold in that kind of family court circuit, because anyone going through that, is at a vulnerable time. They're heightened emotionally. And so this woman, she showed me the way. She actually really empowered me in my own womanhood and motherhood. She supported me, but in such a beautiful boundaried way. And occasionally, I would sort of want extra support, or, what's going to happen? What can we do? And she's someone that had a really pivotal time in my life, where I was still getting different parts of my career together, really showed me how to be involved with clients, empathetic, but actually empower them rather than when they're sort of weak. And that was my time of being weak. She empowered me rather than, holding me and trying to fix me and trying to rescue me. I taught you about, and this is something we can talk about here, which is the drama triangle. And it's really hard not to want to rescue and fix and save your clients. Do you know what I mean? But in the end, you actually can't. And that's codependency, and that's unhealthy. And I was looking for that codependency, for is it going to be okay? Can you make it better? And she's like, in the end, this is your fight. I can empower you with the knowledge and the way to go, but the outcome is your responsibility, and this is where your power lies. This is your what you can take. This is what you can have. And she was just really taught me a lot about business, really taught me a lot about how to be a woman in business, how to be respected. I respect her to this day endlessly. She taught me so much. And yeah, that's one. I mean, I have more, but I really would like to hear what you have to say first.
Okay, so take this conversation a bit more, lighter. I don't, okay, so the thing is that my mom definitely is the one that I was looking after. I was trying to recall if there is any movie that could have inspired me more than another with a specific woman there, and I keep trying to look for. I believe that there was, but not that impactful as you. So the thing is that my mom was definitely, the example. I could only reach out to her. So she always gave me love. She always gave me, everything we wanted. And even when I was the most evil child, I mean, not child, but more teenage, she was there. She supported me. And yes, she there is no other woman that I would look up for. And yeah, and additionally, recently I've run a gratitude challenge. And in one of the day, there is that day where, you remember what your mom did for you and what she did. And also, that was not the day that I was trying to refer to. That was the day where, look around yourself for the people who achieved their dreams. And the first who came out was my mom. My mom's dreams was to live in Paris, living this downtown, small town, in the middle of France, where in the winter it's super cold, in summer it's super hot, and there's nothing to do. Literally, culturally, there is not so much things to do. There are things, but not that much. So she wanted to escape that and live in Paris, and she did it. And then she built up a career there. So the thing is that everything that she has made, really attract respect. If I was to tell the story of my mom, it would definitely attract respect, because she did everything she could to be a good mom, to be a good, she was not an employee, she was a civil servant, but she was an employee before, getting into the exam, and she was trying her best, and she made it. She was an owner on her own in Paris, middle of Paris, not even the suburb. She bought an apartment, a big apartment, a 3-bedroom apartment in Paris next to the subway. I mean, things that for me looks like insane. Of course, she got opportunities before, when few things were cheaper or whatever, but she did it. That was just amazing. Seriously, that was amazing. And while we are talking about that, I feel that I miss that entrepreneurship, model. And this is where, role models are very important, because whatever they did, you can just relate to them, to what they have been through and things like that. And why entrepreneurship may look so hard to me is that I don't have a role model about entrepreneurship. She made everything, my mom made everything, based on her knowledge and her resilience as well, and resistance, because she has been divorced. And then she also had to build that life again, with two teenage, evil like hell, seriously. And at some point, not all the time, come on. But so yeah, she built up a very beautiful life. So this is definitely my go-to woman. When it comes to achieving dreams, being resilient, seriously resilient, and yeah, she had also a moment, especially in corporate, when she was working in corporate with moral harassment, and at that time you would just zip it, and competition as well, competition with other colleagues of hers. So these are the things that eventually doing an episode on what is going on in the corporate world could be definitely a good episode. And yeah, she survived through it, definitely, and now she's just retired, enjoying her life. You know, she bought a smaller apartment, selling the big one because we're no longer here anyway. And so yeah, she's seriously happy, and I'm glad for that. So this is definitely my role model. So it's a bit cliche to quote a mom, but it's true. It's true. I don't have women. When I was a teenage, so would be my second one, much lighter. But J-Lo, actually, I was such a big fan.
She's still so cool.
And I
love her now as an older woman role model.
100%.
I love her, actually.
So when I was a teenage, right, in the 90s, she was going off, with all these albums, and she was, of course, her stories, love stories. Oh my God, love stories. She has so many heartbreak. But I was really inspired by her energy, Of course, the songs, I liked it, but I was a big fan of the woman, what she was representing in the world, and how she keep fighting and fighting, You don't have that kind of energy when you look at Mariah Carey or when you look at Rihanna. It's different. J-Lo has such a different energy. So she was definitely, I was in love with that woman, with that resilience about her, that that leadership when she was on stage, that energy that could emanate from her was brilliant. And I was already watching her movies in the past. I really like her. But now that I look back, before I really loved her movies, but now that I look back, I found that, yeah, she was missing few things because she was probably trying to step into an archetype that was not hers. Because she was making a movie about, I don't remember, it was a thriller movie. I don't remember the title. I will try to look it up. And even though I loved the movie because I loved the woman, it was not necessarily a role for her. But the moment that she started doing, those romantic comedies, that's suddenly, lighting up everything, because this is her archetype. Her archetype is about love. It's all about love, chasing love, and thriving through heartbreak, right? He's the archetype that she is embodying in this life. And now that she's finally stop looking for those roles that would not necessarily fit her and stepping into what she loves doing. And there is this new movie that's about to come out. I already watched, the trailer, and I'm sure it's gonna be amazing. I really loved her. She grew as a woman, and I am glad to have her as, I grew up with her. Of course, she's 10 or 15 years older than me, but damn, she's such an example, and I really love her, and the way that she progressed. And if we talk about her love relationship as well, this is such a big lesson, because I was heartbroken with her when it ended up with Ben Affleck. I was seriously heartbroken with her, because I felt that it was so matching, really matching. Of course, it's only based on what we see in the medias, so we're not there with them. But I was really sad with her, for her, and now that they are back together, she's completely a different woman. The woman that she was when she was with Ben Affleck 20 years ago. Every woman can relate to that, being completely the groupie of your man. This is not healthy. I would say, woman, if you're like this with your man, it's not healthy. It's passionate eventually, but it will eventually come to an end, because there is one which is above the other one, and it's just because that person look it up to that person with not looking at herself as an equal. And but now that they are back together, the energy is completely different. I mean, it's meant to last, but I may be wrong, but who knows, because I'm not living with them, I don't know. But I'm really happy that now they are back together, because Ben Affleck as well has been really suffering as well for years, He was happy with, I forgot her name, but then after that, once this all was done, I'm not looking at tabloids, I'm not into that, but J-Lo's environment and words, I know a little bit of it. I love her. And by the way, as a joke, but not only as a joke, I wrote her a message on Instagram to see if she wanted to participate in our podcast.
Are you serious?
Of course, I did not get any answer. I was not expecting any answers. But, I really look up for her. She's such an example. We feel that she's famous, so she got everything. She's rich, so she got everything easy. But somehow her life, I can tell, that was not easy at all. She's emotional, extremely emotional, and that for people who are emotional, we suffer from the very little things. And I know from my design, I'm not supposed to be emotional, but I still, am. So, yeah. Anyway, that was my 2 moments that I have in mind. Tell me about yours.
Oh, well, I mean, I've done 2, but there is one other woman I want to mention for a particular reason. Is those other 2 that I mentioned are obviously older than me. And your mum is and J-Lo is, and it's quite common to look up to women who are older than you, but it doesn't have to be, because I have one of, I would have been around 30 and she was 19, and she was so emotionally mature. She was a neighbor of mine. She inspires me to this day. I have never had a friend who is more supportive, who sees right into you. Do you know what I mean? Just like, she legitimately loved and accepted me for who I was. And I think she looked up to me, but I don't think she really realized how much she impacts my life. And we have a very beautiful relationship. When we were first friends, this wasn't something that I admired about her, but I actually saw her. So I used to be a photographer. That's probably, I think, how we became friends. And when I met her, she's probably 17, 18. And I gave her my camera. We talked about photography a little bit, but we had a friendship that grew way out of that. And she has now gone on to do much more than I did. Like, she works for a TV channel. She's gone into videography. She's very talented and she's very successful. And she was a one-track mind. So I saw a teenager. She'd be now like 25, 30, I don't actually know. It wasn't when I lived in Melbourne, it was somewhere else. So we're friends on social media, and I just love seeing someone, because a lot of people don't make their teenage dreams a reality. She did that. She is an amazing person, and she showed me that you can be wise even as a teenager. So empathetic. I mean, there's always something beautiful about youth in terms of, they don't usually have that wisdom and maturity that she had, but they have that innocence and seeing the world, with beginner's eyes and a beginner's mindset. And she was just clear. Do you know what I mean? She, not a lot of things I think in her life had affected her. So she was very clear, and I loved who I was around her, or who I was in her eyes. And we'll be friends forever. It was just a soul connection with someone a lot younger than me and a million times more mature and wise and empathetic. And it is beautiful to have a friend who just loves you for who you are. Like, she just didn't have a drop of judgment in her body. Wow. And I can't say I spent a lot of time with her now, but I am sure it is still the same.
Wow. It really is beautiful. I'm looking at, did I have this kind of person? No, because I think it would mark my life and I would remember. I have excellent friends, and I remember that around my teenage, I was looking up for men because I could see women being mean to women, and that, you know, was very hard for me to accept that was it. So then I decided to look for men. I remember that's what I described. It's only what I felt when I was younger. And, you know, women don't stay. You know, the moment that, you know, you break something or something is happening in the middle, you know, women just run away. There's not such a thing about, okay, let's, you know, try to explain, let's try to understand. There's not such a thing. I mean, in my environment, you know, when something was broken, the woman would disappear and I would be left alone, trying to find other people, you know. And wow, that's the scheme actually of my life. That was the scheme. Before my 30s, I lost very, very, very good friend over stupid reasons. And I mean, I feel that it was stupid reasons, but I was probably, you know, part of that, what was happening. Definitely, you know, it's never one way, right? It's always two ways. But yes, I was having my best friend, and the moment she got married, she erased me from her life. And I kind of know why, but I won't say it there. And then a second very good friend. We could do everything together. Seriously, we could do everything together. And drugs happened in between. And probably I was too judgmental at that time, because I didn't want her to spoil her life. I mean, having drugs for fun, it's good, but when it comes an addiction, well, it completely destroys your life. And I was probably too judgmental at that time, so she left. But surprisingly, life get us back together, you know. I mean, of course, it would never be the same as before, but I get back in contact with them in the previous year. And we still have a lot of respect for each other, but I mean, we'd never be friends anymore, like we used to be. But anyway, so these are the things about women in my life. But now, after 30 years old, you know, probably 35, there were a shift, you know. I was looking up for more women into my life because I was feeling that I did not have enough that feminine energy around me. And now I'm surrounded by seriously beautiful women. I don't even have much of a man in my environment, except my husband, of course. But, you know, I was not into that womanhood, you know, being in part of a woman circle. Well, this is new to me, actually. And it's really, really empowering when you are in a right circle, you know, when you look for each other. It's just beautiful. Seriously, the woman sisterhood, if we want to say, you know, the womanhood, it seriously can be so strong. And sometimes we are spending too much energy on competing with each other. Well, the moment that we gather together, seriously, there is a strong connection, there is a strong energy that happens, which is, by the way, the energy of the number 2. Because recently we had 22 to 2022, and all February actually was part of this energy, you know, the bounding, the connection, not necessarily with women, by the way, but this is the energy of the 2. So yes, sorry, I digress a little bit from the International Women's Day and the women that look up to you, but that's the idea. The idea is much more now for me. I'm not really into, why not having role models? I had women who inspired me, but only for a short period of time, not, you know, longer time. They taught me what I needed to learn. And now I just move on, you know, I don't need her anymore in my life. So I'm much more into now building my life with women, you know, very close women, inspiring each other, helping each other, supporting each other, a little bit like what you had with your young woman. I wish to have that.
It was great. And we still support and are friendly, but you know, when you're not in the same place anymore, it's a bit harder, like physically.
Agree. It's not easy.
But we'll be friends forever.
Yeah.
And I'm so opposite for you because I'm always stuck to my friends. I can even just think of, I just can't stop thinking of women who have inspired me or who have supported me or shown me the way or influenced me in some way. So I guess, ladies, look around and say, and reach out to the women who are in your life and that you're grateful for having them, or they've inspired you or supported you or empowered you, and reach out to them today or this week.
Yes, and wish them a beautiful International Women's Day. So think about, what does it mean for you, International Women's Day? We are celebrating this. There are many fights out there from women, willing to, desiring to have much more freedom, much more power. And the life that I live in corporate, I know it's not the same everywhere. I know that for sure. I've been in a toxic environment where women were not actually, welcome, I would say, as a strong, powerful position. But seriously, it is our job to stop stepping into our masculine energy, because the feminine energy has its place in the corporate, but not only, even the small companies, at work. Feminine energy has its place at work, not only masculine energy, not only what men are doing. So this is very important. Don't step into, it's not because you get a super role that you have to behave like a man to be successful. Seriously, be you, stepping into your feminine energy, because this is how you're gonna, respect yourself, and this is how you're gonna be doing good. Seriously, I've experienced this as in a hierarchy, a woman trying to behave like a man just because she's in a man environment. Well, you're not necessarily doing good, but once you step into who you are, embracing your feminine energy, still acting with your masculine energy, this is where you're going to be successful. And just be you. Yeah, just be you. Be a woman and love. Because feminine energy is all about love. So just be you, and you'll be beautiful. Have a good day, everyone.
Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and every time you listen, we truly appreciate it. And if you would like to follow me or learn more about my work or get in contact with me, please go to my website, which is angelajanecoaching.com.
And if you want to know more about my work, you can go on sarahmeng.com. All the details are going to be listed in a comment below. You can also follow us on social media, Instagram or Facebook, where we are sharing our daily tips.
Bye.
Hope to see you soon.